Hello, mayors. Hello, female mayors. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We're here to start another episode of Barbazzini Island, our vanilla series on an island. And well, if you like it, please leave a like right at the beginning of the video while you stroll through our gated community with an exclusive and magnificent view of the downtown of our Asian village. If you're not subscribed yet, I also ask you to consider subscribing, because I really want to reach the milestone of 100,000 residents here on this channel. That's like a city called Barbosa Cities. All right? Well, the tour's nice. It's really great, but we have to keep expanding and solve some problems on the other side of the channel. Over there by the sea, right? By the body of water. Over there in our Japanese island. Well, getting there can be rough. Man, sometimes it lags, right? Sometimes it's a bit backed up. Sometimes it's clear, right? In this case, it's clear here. I made some changes, added another lane here at the entrance to the city, right? Because a lot of cars are coming, especially here, look, where they start piling up, right? Because they meet up with the cars that are already inside the city, right? They come from here, and they meet up with the cars coming from outside the city. Anyway, this part here is a bit complicated, but the city is doing really well, right? Over here, look, I put in a roundabout because here we have a street that also enters the city. And I also added some details, right? As you can see in the time lapse that started really quickly here because someone commented in the last episode, Barbosa, about this entrance to the city, right? About this question mark, where there's kind of a circle forming a round track in those access ramps that reach the far end of the island, right? You could make a plaza there, and I agree. I've been looking at this circular space for a while now, and I think a plaza would fit really well here. So I went to take a look at some parks, right? And I found a circular park that would fit really well here. The only thing is that I had to add a street. Because you can't place a park or any other building that's not a prop in a place that doesn't have a street. So I added a little side street here. It didn't interfere with the avenue's traffic. I removed the traffic light, took out the excessive crosswalks, that the game generates. And it turned out pretty cool. I surrounded this circular plaza with a walking path. I provided easy access to the sidewalk there. Here we have a tram stop. So it became a very pleasant stop and waiting area for public transportation, despite the overpass and despite the access ramps. I added a slightly different grass texture and also both low and tall vegetation to decorate this square and give it some nice landscaping. In the end, I thought it fit really well here. It's a sunken plaza with multiple levels. It's not overly paved or anything like that, so it turned out to be a really cool addition here. And like this, look, as you can see, it really turned out kind of dug out there. And man, it matched perfectly with this circle here at the access ramp. Take a look. I'm going to get closer here so you can see how it turned out. We have this alley, right? This little alley vibe. I made this little square here with a food truck and a newsstand. So people who aren't running that late can grab a hot dog here while they wait for the tram. The tram that passes by here comes pretty often. We managed to fix the garage problem over there. Over here, right, there are already some people walking around. And here we have our park. This is the winding park, right? Visitors can use the winding ramps to access the natural beauty of the park. And it provides more outdoor recreation. The problem, man, is that homeless people have shown up here. Look, both up here and down here. Here too, okay? They occupy practically every park we place. I think the game must have some issue regarding this, right? If I'm not mistaken, when a person becomes homeless, I don't know if they can get out of that situation later or if they stay homeless forever. But let's see if there is, look, in this park, if there's anyone living here. Residents, there are 4, okay? Then I made a few here, look, and there are also some here. Look, people always live in the low density blocks. And I'm going to try to solve this. Maybe, let me check the data here. Look, we have, our homelessness rate is 0.7%. We have 659 homeless people in the city on the island, right? Unemployment went up. After all, we brought more people onto the map, right? Building here, mainly this gated community. And also, I ended up expanding a bit here. Look, I divided the lots. One here in that old traditional way you already know, right? taking advantage of the spaces here to also put these squares. Okay. And add the vegetation. Look. Here there's another circular plaza. Anyway, we managed to fill this part nicely. The only thing missing are these blocks here, which I'm waiting for commercial demand, you know. That hasn't started growing again yet. And commerce is a job generator, right? But commercial demand has been tough here. Even the ones that are already here are complaining. Look, not enough customers. This one too, not enough customers. But we can't bring more people because the unemployment rate will go up. And consequently, the number of homeless people will increase. People here living on the streets. And it's been a long time since we've built any industry, right? We built this industry here quite a few episodes ago. And we need to create jobs. And as a bonus, also help out here. Look, with this production, the oil, which we had a deficit of, is back. Now we have a surplus here because we put some monument here that increased production, right? And it really improved. But look, all three minerals in the game, metal, coal, and stone, are in short supply. We're importing them. And grain too, okay? We urgently need it. Now, firewood is another story. And that's going to create jobs, okay? So that's going to be my concern in this episode, right? We've already spent a few good episodes expanding this island. It's almost finished. We're just missing this little part here, making this beach. And also this part over here, right? I think that's going to be the biggest challenge here. Because it's a big area, There are quite a few blocks here. We can make another beach. Maybe put a monument here at the tip of this island. Anyway, but let's go. Let's think about building a quarry here. Meanwhile, go ahead and comment on what you think about this circular park here. To give everyone a hand here, I'll try to check the administration menu. We have a social security office. Oh, but we already have one right here. Actually, we have two. Okay, this one is a community kindergarten. And this one is a social security and health office, right? It offers various types of consultations and medical care. But there's a difference. Look, the Japanese one, which is the one we placed, right? It's about health, daily life, and children. The social security one, it says here that it's to increase, actually to help the less fortunate. The description is different, but I think in practice it ends up being the same thing, And over here, look, we really don't have any coverage for this service. I'm going to take advantage of these somewhat empty blocks here and place it. We have a citizen service center that interests me more. I actually think it's a much nicer building. This one, vanilla, look, it has a huge parking lot. It takes up a huge space, right? And in a way, it even looks like a mall, right? It's actually pretty ugly. I prefer the other one that's more compact. Citizen Service Center. It's not that compact because the parking lot is also pretty big, but it will work well here. I didn't want to place it directly on the avenue because I wanted to preserve the corridor effect here, right? If we have a big parking lot on the avenue, this corridor effect, which is what we have here, look, here it will disappear. So maybe I'll just add an alley here and split this block in two. Oh man, but even so, it won't fit. Okay, I'll put it more towards the end here. Then, here it's not so central anymore, huh? Like this, right? We can put one of its services here. And here we kind of have a civic plaza, right? Where there are these public buildings, right? Here there's a college. Here there's a university. Over here, a research center. Anyway, so I think it's welcome here, okay? Here, yes, we can put an alley. All the way to the other side here, all right? All right, done. I moved the university a little more to the side, right? So this street here would be a bit better for the entrance to the roundabout, right? Just like this one here, right? This one too. They're both well positioned here. Look, at both ends of the roundabouts here, of this esplanade, right? Almost an esplanade. These paired one-way avenues. But anyway, we'll work on this here later. Because what matters to us now is to set up a mining operation, right? We saw that we need minerals. And I'm going to do it. Look. Here, okay? This exploration and this extraction. That's why I'm already going to buy the areas needed for the service here, right? Even more than necessary. Because we can afford it, right? We had already seen before that this is an area with a lot of minerals. So, let's work in this region. You remember, right? Those of you who've been following the episodes remember that there was an intersection here. I ended up removing it because, man, the traffic volume here isn't that high. And it was a huge construction project, right? For a really small amount of traffic. We're going to have to review this here. Because the entrance to this mine would be around here. I even thought about making the entrance a little further over here. But look where this road is going, man. It goes around here. Because the terrain is flat, right? It's kind of weird. But it's really beautiful. I don't intend to mess with or remove this here, because it's really well done. And actually, the only reason to have a road like this would be if this place was very busy, right? Like if there were a city here, or if the terrain were irregular. Since it's flat, it would make sense to have a road going around if everything here was urbanized, right? Really dense. Which isn't the case, right? But let's see what we can do here in the future. Or maybe, look, I could take this road here, right? Since it ends here at this roundabout, right? I could move it back a bit and bring it kind of parallel here with the train tracks. Right? Okay, let's see what we can do. I don't think that's going to be the case here, though. Actually, I'm even going to go back here on the road. All right. I think that's going to be better, right? For us, here. Erase this here. Okay, let's remove this roundabout here. Even though it's pretty simple, it worked really well. Let's take it out here, all right? And here too, look, up to this corner. And we get this space here to work with. But I want an entrance here. For the mine, right here, look. In this part here, where there's a lot of ore. I think it'll be easier if we just make this connection here. From here to here, look. And man, it even created an overpass here. But that's not a problem. I'll actually make use of this overpass. Because there's a dip here, right? The ground is higher over here, so it ends up creating this overpass here. But that's not a problem. So this road, right? The one that comes from the bridge here in the suburb of our island. And I would already connect it to the passage to the other side, to the mine, right? I just need to maybe lower this a little bit here. Build a little overpass here, see? And then we already have this end to work with moving forward. Man, here we have to cover a huge elevation gain to get up here, huh? Wow, I didn't think it was this high. We won't be able to make it all the way over there. Maybe if we go up through here, see? There's still quite a bit of slope, but it's less abrupt. Let's see if we can do something here, right? A nice gentle climb here. Really winding, right? Like a little mountain road with a maximum of 10% incline, right? And then connect it here, see? With this little road that comes from behind here, from the satellite city. Behind our gated community. Here, look, I was observing. There's a ramp. That we could try to work on too. Yeah. I think building here will even create a good distance from that other entrance. Then we'll have two entrances, right? I'm going to decrease the brush size, increase the strength. I'll smooth out this ramp here, make it smoother. And from here to here as well, look. I hope I don't deform the natural shape here too much. Look, we have a height gain of 7.3%. So it's fine. And now, another 9, right? The limit I'm trying to set here is 10%. And over here, another 2, wow. This part is really steep, man. I'll try to make this even smoother. There we go. 10%. It almost didn't work, but here it is, right at the limit. All right. We went up. Here, we have to build a viaduct over the railroad track junction, right? There's no other way. All right. And now, let's connect our other entrance here. Yeah, guys. Building infrastructure to create a new place is complicated, you know. It's not easy at all. We have to think about all the logistics, right? Access, entrance, exit, you know. Here, I'm not even going to make that access, for example, for those who are here. Look, to be able to enter here. Because the space is really small, you know. So I left the roundabout here in this corner. There was already one here too. The guy can make a turn and access it from here, okay? But we managed, look, to build both roads. Right, there will be some details, like putting a guardrail here. I think it would look good to put it here. So look, on the edge of this road, especially here, right? Because the curve is really sharp here, and there's a cliff. The intersection is here, right? You guys kind of already know how I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to use that T-Zarina style interchange. It's been working really well for us. I'm not going to explain it again, because I explained it a few episodes ago, right? Which is this style of intersection here, how to do it, right? Also, so the series doesn't get too repetitive. You blinked, Barbosa made another intersection here, right? And it turned out really nice here, really neat. The lane layout here. Where there's supposed to be an overpass, there's an overpass. Where there's supposed to be a little containment barrier, there's a containment barrier. And that's how it turned out, right? I even applied a different texture here between the lanes. Here in the middle, there's a different grass texture too. and it turned out really compact and well fitted here. I believe it will handle the traffic flow. Now, let's really get started here with our mine project. Here's what I intend to do. Like any good mining operation, deforestation. So, I'm going to remove this vegetation here in the middle, on this other side as well. And I'm going to start digging. Here in terraforming, right? In the terraforming tab. Use the terrain leveling tool. Here we have a height of 2 meters, man. Let me see something deeper here. Look, 4. Do you think that would be a good size? Yeah, I think we can go with 8, right? Because then at least there will be a 10-meter difference, or is that too much, huh? Well, I'll leave it like this. And now, look, I'm going to come here. Digging everything along the train track. Parallel here to the train track on one side, and parallel to the highway here on the other side. Here on this other side, right? Of the road. Also look, to make a smaller excavation. It even looks like the construction of those big pools, right? Those big pools they have here in Sao Paulo. And now I'm going to set it to level 18 and make a second level of excavation here. All right, the bottom part here is done. Now I'm going to do this top part here. Yeah, man, there's no other way. I'm gonna have to remove a lot of trees from here, then redo it where I think it's appropriate, right? Because here I can't see anything, right? Actually, especially since the trees turned orange because it's autumn. All right, now our mountain is bald and ready to be explored. And this would be the perfect opportunity to insert an advertisement here in the video. But since they haven't paid me yet, it's just an idea for now. I'm laying this road out here, look, along this edge. Exactly because this space here, right, we're going to make use of it, even taking some pieces off the mountain here to simulate, as if it were really an excavation. And then I'm going to connect this road with the other one I made here along the edge. Like this. Looks good, right? There's access here, there's access over here. And we don't end up with access on just one side. And also, I wish that up here wasn't just meant for mining, you know, but also that this could be a crossing point, you know, to bring a road through here. I was taking a look, see? And there's even a little space here, see? Enough for a road, you know? On this side of the waterfall, you know? From the waterfall over here, there isn't. It's really steep. But it can be done. And maybe in the future connect this to another road and explore this part over here, you know? There's even some kind of structure around here. But let's focus here for now, just on this part, see? Routing this road right here at the foot of the mountain. And in the future, bringing it over here, see? Right in this corner, this little corner, you know? It looks like this land here was made for a road to go through. Okay, impressive. So here, I'll just leave this end open. And later we'll finish it on the other side. But the road design looks nice here, right? And then I'm going to connect it right here at this curve. A famous triangular intersection here. Like this, see? This way, right? I'm even gonna do some math here. It's gonna be a bit tight, but it'll work. It's a bit tight here, but it'll work. After all, most of the vehicles that we'll be driving here will be moving at low speed. They'll be large vehicles, right? So let's leave it like this. Well, next step, right? Do the digging up here. This part will be simpler. Look, it's 51 high. I'll take off 10 as well. I'll leave it at 41. And here, it's going to be kind of dangerous. Why? Because there's a lake here, right? We can't take too much out, no. If we break the dam, the barrier, right, it'll be a disaster. That's it, we don't want that. I'm doing something really neat here precisely because this isn't a hole made by nature, right? It's man-made. So it doesn't need to be so irregular. I'm going to make another one here. Look, another level, right? And here, on this side, it's going to be more complex because we're going to take pieces out of the mountain. For example, I believe this piece here could be put to good use, you see. Look, I'm following the terrain here. Topographic drawing. I'm taking a piece out of it here. This is the end of the mountain here. After that, we'll do one more excavation. I think up to here, we'll be able to do 2 excavations. One on this side and one on this other side here. Because look, the excavation circle here doesn't cover everything, right? This one will be fine, and these 2 here will also be okay. The problem is going to be here. Look, we won't be able to do just one excavation. So I'm going to add one more here, an excavation on another level, and make another level even deeper. And now, the last excavation on this side, following more or less the same patterns here. All right, look, it turned out like this. Right, okay. With the contour lines, right, we can see much better how it looks. Right, when we remove the lines, you can't see much. But that's because there's not much difference from here to here, right? Because it's all grass anyway. But now we're actually going to create the mining area. Well, and the process is actually going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to create some ramps here for going down, right? So we can make the road. Here's a ramp. And then I think we can make one here. Look, I think we can even out the difference right here. I think I'll do it on this other side too. And here as well. All right, I'll do the same in the other excavations. It's done here. Look, there are several little ramps everywhere, and it even looks like a Pokemon map, right? After that, you just extend the dirt road all the way down there. So I'm going to make a turn here. Let's see how much we got on this descent. 9.4 is okay. And then I need to remember to always keep it along the edge here, right? So we can save space. Look here too. I'll bring this road all the way down. Look, the first one turned out nice here. There's an access here. I made another one here. And there's an access here, right? I hope there won't be any traffic problems. Now I'm going to do this one here. The second one turned out pretty nice too. Here's the access. The third one is done here as well. Right on the edge here, you know, to save space. This one turned out really nice too. Our fourth excavation, right? The entrances start here. And then one part goes this way, and the other goes this way down to this lower hole. And now...
Quinta e última
action. Look, we can go down this way, then just go straight this way. Because we're going down to the second level here on this ramp. You can do it this way too, see? One right here on the edge of the mountain. Of the cliff, right? Canyon, I don't know. So we can also set up a mining area here whenever we have an entrance around here too, right? We can even put two. I'm going to create a simple entrance here. It'll also serve the logistics on this side, right? Yeah, I think our entrances are okay here, right? Now we're going to start placing things here. Stone, coal, and ore extraction. This part here that I'm looking at now, see? This one will be the least productive, right? Because there isn't much ore here. I just noticed that. But the rest will be perfect. The biggest shortage is stone. 555 tons, then coal, and then ore. So let's start with stone. Let's do the opposite now. I'm going to go from top to bottom here. See, that's why I left these ends of the road sticking out here. Because that's where I'm actually going to set up the extraction area, right? This main part of the extraction. Then you just draw along here, see? Near the edge of the excavation. You have to be careful not to go up, right? All right, look. First excavation here, see? Done, positioned. Hey, it looks good, huh? I like it. Perfect, it worked out. So we have stone here. This one, let me see how much it's going to produce, right? The capacity. Does it show? I don't remember if it shows. Oh, when you're drawing the territory here, it shows, see? 249 tons. It's still not enough. Because for stone, we're going to need 555. But basically, one more of these, a little bigger, will already meet our demand, right? And whatever extra we get, we export. It goes to the public treasury. Here on the island. Huh, did I put coal or did I put stone? Man, I don't even remember anymore. Oh, I put coal. See, Barbosa? Not paying attention. I'm going to make all of this into coal. Then I'll make stone up here. These two, right? That's what we need the most. And down here, or... I'll make coal here too. Look, I'll put it right here at the end, and I'll mark the area here too. Then here, look, when it's by the side of the road, it's easier. I don't know if I'm going to put it right next to the road too. I think I'll leave a little space here as a buffer. Let's see if it looks good, right? Yeah, I think it looks good like this. Leave this space, right? That could work. And just here, look. Another 428 tons. That's coal to spare. All right. The coal area here is finished. This is how it turned out. Now I'm going to do the rest here with the stone and the ore. All right, look. I did all the excavations here. It looks good, right? Some excavation pockets here. And now I just need to work on the surroundings with vegetation, right? The area that wasn't deforested. For example, up here at the top. And here it has to be done manually, okay? Done by hand to create a nice effect. To create a cool effect. Because sometimes if you use the brush, it ends up placing things kind of randomly. And it doesn't create the effect I want, like this, look, a clustered effect. Anyway, that's just my thing. Man, and the vegetation part. It's a lot of work, especially for me since I'm picky about this, but it's worth it. You can't go without it. There you go. I've already placed one type of tree here, right? Yeah, it looks a bit weird. But when I add the other one, it'll look a bit better. For example, look, when the tree is here, growing on the rock, I don't like it. So I come over and start removing it, right? Because the tree has to grow on soil, on grass, on. Now I have to redo the vegetation on this mountain. I think I overdid it when I was removing it. But it's all good. It's replanted here. Hey guys, I think we're finishing things up here, you know? Man, I'll need to bring both water and electricity here. Finish, sort of. Man, these roads, they could handle this kind of thing, right? All right, the water is connected, and I'm going to connect the electricity here too. Just updating the road here, right? Now it's done. Everything's connected. Man, there are already people here complaining about the noise, okay? Yeah, I think it was from the excavation. Let's see what the noise area looks like. No, actually, it's from the industry, right? The excavation doesn't make that much noise. We're lacking industry. I've already removed some houses from here for that reason, and I may need to remove more. So, what did you think? Look at that, right? It's different from the style I usually do, right? A big hole, a crater in the ground. Here we still kept the excavation holes. But instead of always going down, right, it also goes up, right? It seems like it will go up in steps until it gets pretty high. An excavation at the top. An excavation that goes up. Only here on the Barbosa Cities channel. So you can see an idea like this being put into practice. And look at this view here, right? With the city in the background, the skyscrapers. It's a sensational skyline, right? The transition from this industrial mining area, you know, to the urban area. It turned out really cool, right? And it's pretty complex. That's exactly why I mentioned the different levels. And also because we have roads, dirt roads, a river. There are some really winding roads here. Look, curves providing access, right? Up, down. It turned out really nice, didn't it? Here we have an excavation between a train track, a river, and an intersection. It turned out awesome. And the machines are already working at full steam. I really want to know your opinion. And we're obviously going to take a first-person tour to see what this view looks like up close, right? It turned out really cool, huh? Especially when seen from above, right? It covers a huge area here. Look, almost the size of our village. Bigger than our satellite village, right? And maybe even bigger than our historic village over there, right? It turned out really nice. Look, there are already people coming up here. It's the police car doing its patrol. Let's see what the entrance to this mining area looks like, right? Industrial here. We have an overpass, a kind of winding road that follows the terrain here, right? You have to go really slowly, really carefully, right? So there are no accidents. And then when you get up here, right, there's a really tight roundabout, right? And here are already the dirt roads where we can see the mining being done. We can see more mountains over there. The weather is kind of rainy, right? But look, excavation going down, excavation up here on several levels, just like we planned. Now I want to see a first-person view leaving the industrial area. The vehicle is going to go down to the lowest level here to check if nothing is being stolen around here, right? Sometimes people find some precious stones and don't want to report them. Hey, how's it going? Security? How are things? Barbosa here in the area, right? Mayor, governor of the island. Just checking how the construction is going here. Our excavation, look at this, right? There's also a big one here. I don't even know what this is. An extractor. And we're going to go up here. Look, even on the other level, there are a lot of extractors, right? And over here, we have the road, right? The road that comes out of this excavation. And I think from up here, we'll be able to get a good view of the city. Look at that. Look at this view from up here, man. More mining down there, more mining here. And the city in the background, right? The industrial chimneys. The towers over there from the bridge, right? And the skyscrapers there in the city in the background. This view is really, really, really cool here. Well, with an aerial tour here of our intersection completed today, the excavation we did today. A lot of things done in today's episode. I'm going to give a shout out by name to Giovanni Freitas, Jose Fernando, Nagal, and Pedro Mendez for being vice mayors here on the channel in the members club, all right? They, along with the secretaries, are watching this video in advance, right? at least a day ahead. And I also want to thank you who's a council member here. You are the foundation and pillar of this channel. You are amazing. You are awesome. As well as those who are subscribed but are not part of the members club, right? You who are subscribed, you who like the video at the beginning, you who hype it up, my sincere thanks. We're always together. A big hug. And with this amazing view, I say goodbye to you all. See you.